What if I told you that the universe has never been silent? And what if, at this very moment as you listen to my voice, a symphony of information, guidance, and answers is flowing all around you and through you? It's not that the universe doesn't speak to us. It's that we have forgotten how to tune the radio. We have been conditioned to seek answers only on a single noisy channel, the frequency of the logical mind. We value analysis, data, and external evidence, but by keeping our dial fixed on that one station, we have become deaf to the vast spectrum of wisdom that the cosmos broadcasts every second. The universe speaks to you through the silent channel of your intuition. It sends you messages through the patterns of synchronicity. It shows you blueprints in the oracle of your dreams. And it gives you the most honest feedback through the compass of your own body. These are not poetic ideas. They are real frequencies, communication channels as valid as the radio waves that bring music to your car. This audiobook is a manual for the cosmic radio listener. It is a practical guide to dusting off your inner receiver and learning to deliberately tune in to each of these communication channels. You will learn to differentiate the signal from the static, to interpret the messages hidden in coincidences, and to use this universal guidance to navigate your life with new clarity, new confidence, and new power. The broadcast has begun. The cosmos is speaking. Chapter 1. The Great Veil, the Illusion of Solid Reality. Our five senses, while brilliant tools for survival, are also our greatest and most convincing deceivers. They have been designed for a very specific purpose, to navigate a dense physical world, and to do so, they simplify reality in such a radical way that the version they present to us is, in essence, a useful fiction. They present us with a world of solid objects, clearly defined, separated from each other by seemingly empty and silent space. We believe that the chair you are sitting on is solid. We believe that the space between you and the wall is empty. And we believe that, unless there is an audible sound that our ears can pick up, silence reigns. This perception is an incredibly simplified version of reality, as if we were trying to understand a complex Wagnerian opera by listening to only one out of every million notes. You have been living in an edited, censored world, a children's version of the majestic and strange truth of the cosmos. Modern science, on its journey to the very heart of matter, has shattered this illusion. It has confirmed with the language of mathematics and experimentation what mystics have known for eons. It has discovered that, at the most fundamental level of existence, solid objects do not exist. The chair you are sitting on, which feels so dense and immutable, is 99.9999% empty space, populated by a whirlwind of subatomic particles that are not things, but vortices of energy, packets of information that vibrate at an inconceivable speed. Solidity is an illusion created by the slowness of our senses. Your hand cannot pass through the table not because both are solid, but because the electromagnetic force field of the atoms in your hand repels the force field of the atoms in the table, like two magnets of the same pole that push each other away. What you call touch is the perception of resistance between energy fields, and silence is also an illusion. The space around you is not empty. It is vibrating. It is filled to the brim with an incalculable amount of information in the form of electromagnetic waves, radio signals that bring music from other cities, television signals, mobile phone signals that connect continents, visible light and the vast range of invisible light, cosmic rays that have traveled for millions of years from distant galaxies. You are at this very instant swimming, breathing, and existing in the center of an infinite ocean of frequencies. The universe is not a collection of dead objects. It is a living, infinite, and self-aware orchestra. And everything, absolutely everything, is a note in that orchestra. Every star, every planet, every rock, every blade of grass, every cell of your body is vibrating. It is emitting its own unique frequency. It is singing its own song, the physics of frequency and resonance. To understand the language of the universe, the language of this symphony, we must understand two fundamental principles of physics: frequency and resonance. Frequency. It is simply the speed at which something vibrates, measured in cycles per second or hertz. It is the tone of its song. Low frequencies are slow with long, heavy waves. Think of the deep low note of a double bass, a vibration you can feel in the floor. In the material world, they correspond to dense matter, rocks, metal. In the emotional world, to states like apathy or sadness. High frequencies are fast with short light waves. Think of the sharp, penetrating note of a violin, a vibration that seems to lift into the air. In the material world, they correspond to light, X-rays. In the emotional world, to states like joy or ecstasy. The entire manifested universe is a spectrum of frequencies, an infinite piano keyboard that goes from the slowest notes of dense matter to the unimaginably fast ones of pure light and divine thought. Resonance. This is the key principle, the secret of interaction in the universe. Resonance is the tendency of a system to vibrate with greater amplitude, with more energy, when it is exposed to a frequency that is the same as or very similar to its own natural frequency of vibration. It is the principle that like attracts like on a vibrational level. Imagine two perfectly tuned guitars, one next to the other. If you play the E string on one guitar, the same E string on the other guitar will begin to vibrate on its own, out of sympathy. It will not respond to the A string or the G string. It only responds to its own frequency. An opera singer can shatter a crystal glass by singing the exact note that corresponds to the glass's resonance frequency, making its molecules vibrate so violently that its structure breaks. The universe is a resonance field, and you, as a center of consciousness, are the guitar that is playing a note at every moment of the day. The world around you is the other guitar, and by law it has no choice but to make the strings that correspond to the note you are emitting vibrate. You cannot experience a reality with which you do not resonate. It is a physical impossibility. You cannot tune your radio to 98.7 FM and expect to hear the music of 105.1 FM. You have been conditioned to believe that you are a passive receiver, a victim of the music the world plays for you. The truth is the inverse. The world is the receiver, and you are the radio station. You are a vibratory instrument. You are not a simple instrument with a single string. You are a complex, multidimensional instrument. Your personal music is a composition of three parts: the melody of your thoughts, the harmony of your beliefs, and the resonance of your emotions. Thoughts as the melody. Your thoughts are the main melody of your song. They are the notes you play consciously, or most of the time unconsciously throughout the day. They are not silent, private events that happen in the void of your head. Every thought is a real electrical impulse in your brain, a vibration you emit into the field. A thought of criticism or judgment toward yourself or others is a dissonant note, a discordant frequency. It introduces chaos and static into your energy field and attracts, by resonance, more experiences of conflict, judgment, and separation. A thought of gratitude or appreciation is a harmonious note, a coherent and clear frequency. It tunes into the blessings of the universe, causing the abundance and help strings on the other guitar to begin to vibrate. Your habitual inner dialogue, that stream of thoughts that flows ceaselessly through your mind, is the melody you are composing and rehearsing every instant. If the melody is predominantly one of worry, doubt, complaint, and fear, you are writing and broadcasting a low-frequency score. If the melody is one of confidence, possibility, certainty, and appreciation, you are writing and broadcasting a high-frequency one. Beliefs as the underlying harmony. If your thoughts are the melody, your subconscious beliefs are the harmony, the chord structure on which that melody is played. A belief is a thought that has been practiced so many times, often in your childhood, that it has become an automatic truth, a part of your operating system. Harmony is more powerful than melody. It defines the general feeling of the song. You can try to play a cheerful melody of "I am prosperous" with your conscious thoughts, but if the underlying harmony, your root belief, is a minor chord of "I don't deserve it," or "money is hard to get," the resulting song will inevitably be melancholic and dissonant. The universe, the great listener, does not respond to the superficial melody you are trying to force. It responds to the truth of the harmony, to the dominant vibration of your deepest beliefs. This is the reason why superficial, positive thinking, as we have seen, often fails. It's like trying to sing a happy lyric over tragic music. The result is incongruous. Emotions as the amplifier and resonance. Finally, we come to the most powerful component of your music. If thought is the note and belief is the harmony, emotion is the volume, the intensity, and the resonance with which you play. It is the singer's breath, the percussionist's force, the violinist's passion. Your heart is the soundbox of your being. As we have explored, Its electromagnetic field is thousands of times more powerful than the brain's. It takes the subtle electrical melody of your mind and the harmony of your beliefs and amplifies them, broadcasting them with immense power to the entire orchestra of the universe. It is your emotional state, therefore, that defines your true and dominant vibrational signature. A thought of abundance without emotion is an inaudible whisper in the middle of a storm. A thought of abundance charged with the emotion of gratitude and joy is a shout of power that makes the cosmos vibrate. A note so clear and potent that all the abundance strings in the universe have no choice but to begin to vibrate in response. The first practice, the first act of listening, the daily tuning. To become the conscious composer of your life, you must first become an honest listener. You must learn to hear the music you have been playing by default, the soundtrack of your habitual state. Your first practice is not to change anything. It is to observe. Several times a day you pause. You set an alarm on your phone if necessary. You close your eyes. You take a deep breath to create a space of silence, and instead of analyzing your thoughts, you simply feel. You ask yourself the question of the musician who is tuning his instrument. What music is playing inside me right now? Is it a funeral march of worry about the future? Is it a cacophony of stress and rush? Is it a tango of resentment toward someone? Or is it a soft melody of peace, a symphony of gratitude? Do not judge it. Do not criticize yourself for the music you find. Do not try to turn it off. Simply listen to it. Name it. Ah, this is the song of anxiety. Ah, this is the song of impatience. Then try to locate it in your body. Where is this orchestra playing the loudest? In my stomach. In my chest. In my throat. The second practice, the art of transmutation, the alchemical pivot. Once you have identified a dissonant note, you do not fight it. You know that resisting a note is like trying to stop a vibration with your hands. It only gets amplified. Instead, you practice the art of vibrational transmutation. The fastest way to change your vibration is not by fighting the negative emotion, but by deliberately introducing a superior, harmonious frequency. Knowing that the highest and most coherent note will always dominate and transform the lowest and most chaotic one. When you identify a frequency of fear, anxiety, or frustration, instead of repressing it or letting it carry you away, you perform the following steps. Radical acceptance. For a moment, allow the emotion to be there without judgment. Say, I see you, anxiety. You have permission to be here for a moment. Fighting it is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Physiological shift. Immediately, you change your instrument, your body. You stand up, straighten your back, roll your shoulders back, breathe deeply from your diaphragm, and if possible, force a slight smile for 30 seconds. This change in posture sends a biochemical signal to your brain that interrupts the production of cortisol and begins to release endorphins. You have changed the acoustics of your instrument, invocation of the higher frequency. Now, with your changed physiology, you introduce the new note. You use emotional memory or gratitude. You evoke a memory of a moment of genuine gratitude, unconditional love or appreciation for a simple beauty. You immerse yourself in that feeling. You bring your hand to your heart and feel that warmth expanding in your chest. You sustain that new frequency for 60 seconds. You have introduced, by sovereign choice, a new note into the orchestra, and the highest and most coherent note of gratitude will always, by physical law, absorb and transmute the lower, chaotic energy of fear. The third practice, environmental tuning, the acoustics of your life. Finally, the engineer knows that his instrument is constantly influenced by the other instruments of the orchestra and by the acoustics of the room he is in. His practice is that of environmental tuning. He becomes a conscious curator of his own vibrational environment to facilitate his work. Music, your personal soundtrack. Consciously choose the music you listen to. Create specific playlists for your needs. A coherence playlist for your morning ritual, a focus playlist for deep work, a high-energy playlist to change a low mood, people, your vibrational counsel. Emotions are contagious. You become a guardian of your inner circle. You choose to spend time with high-vibration people, those who resonate with gratitude, possibility, and inspiration. You lovingly limit your exposure to energy vampires, those who live permanently in complaint, judgment, and fear. Information, your mental diet. You apply the information diet strictly. You stop consuming the noise of media negativity, social media arguments, and low-vibration entertainment. You feed your mind with books, podcasts, and films that inspire you and tune you to the frequency of your future self. Nature, the planetary tuning fork. The engineer knows that nature is the perfect tuning fork, the radio station of coherence. A walk in the forest or by the sea is the fastest way to recalibrate his system to the frequency of harmony. The law of vibration has been revealed to you. The universe is not a silent place. It is a symphony of vibrations, and you are one of its most potent composers. Your feelings are not reactions. They are vibrational decrees. You are no longer a victim of your own music. You are its director. You have the power to change the note, to tune your instrument, and to compose the symphony of a new reality. Chapter 2. The Human Receiver. You are a biological antenna of astonishing complexity and sensitivity, designed not only to survive in a small band of reality, but to receive and decode the infinite frequencies of the cosmos. The problem is that most of us have forgotten how our own equipment works. We have kept our receiver fixed on a single station, the noisy, repetitive, and limited station of material reality, without realizing that entire universes of information, guidance, and inspiration are vibrating on other channels. To become a master of the universal language, you must first become a master of your own reception system. You must read the user manual of your soul. You must understand the sacred machinery of your human receiver, the living antenna. The self as a transceiver, we must refine our metaphor. Your being is not a simple passive radio receiver that only listens. It is a transceiver, a sophisticated apparatus that can both transmit and receive. This is a crucial distinction. We transmit through our state of being, as we saw in the previous chapter. We emit the frequency of our thoughts, beliefs, and above all our emotions. We are the radio station that broadcasts our personal song to the universe. We receive through the tuned sensitivity of our nervous system, our heart, and our body. We are the radio that picks up the signals of the great symphony. The quality of your life is the result of this unceasing dance, this feedback loop between the signal you emit and the signal you are able to receive. You cannot receive the frequency of abundance if you are broadcasting the frequency of scarcity. And you cannot know if you are broadcasting the right frequency if you do not learn to listen to the feedback that the universe is sending you. Transmitting and receiving are the two wings that allow you to fly. To be able to tune into a new reality, you must first understand the components of your receiver. The components of the receiver. The divine hardware, your reception system, is not a single piece. It is a set of 3 interconnected instruments, each with a specific function, that work in perfect harmony when they are tuned. The brain is a processor and guardian. Your brain is the central processor of your receiver. It is the incredible quantum supercomputer that takes the abstract frequency waves from the field and translates them into the 3-dimensional experience you call reality. Colors, sounds, textures. But it is not a neutral processor. It is equipped with powerful filtering software, programmed by your beliefs and your personal history. The most important component of this software is your reticular activation system, RAS. The RAS is a network of neurons at the base of your brain that acts as the guardian of perception, the bouncer at the nightclub of your consciousness. Its job is to decide, from among the billions of bits of information that bombard you every second, which ones are important and have permission to enter, and which ones should be ignored and kept out. And how does it decide what is important? It is based on the instructions you have given it. And those instructions are your beliefs and your habitual focus. If you believe that the world is a hostile and dangerous place, you have given your RAS the instruction to scan the environment for threats. Your guardian will become an expert at detecting any sign of hostility, a look, a tone of voice, and will present it to you, while it filters out and erases all the evidence of kindness, cooperation, and beauty that surrounds you. If you decide you want to buy a red car, you will suddenly start seeing red cars everywhere. It's not that there are more red cars. It's that you have given your RAS a new search command, and it is now allowing that information, which was previously invisible to you, to reach your consciousness. This means you do not see the world as it is. You see the world as your RAS is programmed to show it to you. To be able to tune into new frequencies, that of opportunity, that of synchronicity, that of beauty, you must first give your guardian a new, clear instruction. The heart has the primary antenna and the first brain. If the brain is the processor, the heart is the primary antenna. It is the first point of contact with the universe's information field, the true center of your reception system. Science has discovered that the heart has its own nervous system, a cardiac brain with thousands of neurons. The heart is not a simple pump. It is an organ of perception and intelligence. It sends many more signals to the brain than it receives, influencing your perception, your emotions, and your cognitive functions. As we have seen, the heart generates a powerful electromagnetic field in the shape of a torus which extends around you. This field not only broadcasts your vibrational signature, it also receives. It is a vortex that constantly probes the quantum field, capturing vibrational information from the environment, from other people, and from the potential future. It is through this field that you receive the information we call intuition. Intuition, the whisper of the soul, is not a thought generated by your brain. It is a reception of data from the quantum field, a frequency that your heart captures and translates into a sensation, into a knowing that often arrives milliseconds before the brain can process it logically. An open heart, coherent and tuned to love and gratitude, is a sensitive, high-gain antenna, capable of picking up the most subtle signals. A heart closed by fear, resentment, and stress is a disconnected antenna wrapped in static. The body is the resonator and the truth detector. If the brain is the processor and the heart is the antenna, your body is the resonator. It is the instrument that validates, amplifies, and communicates to you the note you are playing and receiving. Imagine an acoustic guitar. The strings vibrate, but it is the hollow wooden box that takes that subtle vibration, amplifies it, and gives it its rich, deep, and audible tone. Your physical body fulfills the same sacred function. It translates the subtle frequencies that your heart receives into tangible physical sensations that you can no longer ignore. This is the language of somatic wisdom. The hunch or gut feeling is not a metaphor. It is your heart and your enteric nervous system, your second brain in your gut, receiving a frequency of warning or alignment from the field and translating it into an unmistakable physical sensation of something is not right or this is the way. The goosebumps you feel when you hear a deep truth or a moving piece of music is not a simple reflex. It is your body resonating, every cell vibrating in harmony with the frequency of that truth. It is your resonator saying, yes, this is true for me. The feeling of expansion in the chest that accompanies an inspired idea, or the feeling of contraction in the stomach in the face of a misaligned decision, are the most honest and direct feedback you will ever receive. They are the way your instrument tells you whether the note you are about to play is in tune or out of tune with the symphony of your soul. You can lie to yourself with your logical mind, but your body never lies. Coherence as the tuning dial. If you are a radio capable of tuning into infinite stations, the station of scarcity, the station of abundance, the station of conflict, the station of peace, what is the dial that allows you to change channels? The dial is your state of coherence. Coherence, as we have seen, is the state of alignment, order, and synchrony between your heart and your brain. It is the state of inner harmony that you generate through elevated emotions and conscious breathing. When you are in a state of incoherence, stress, fear, anger, frustration, your heart rate is chaotic and irregular. It sends an alarm signal to the brain. Your system is at war with itself. In this state, your dial is stuck between two stations. You receive pure static. Your mind is confused, your intuition is blocked, your body is tense, you feel disconnected. You are unable to receive a clear signal from the universe or from your own soul. When you deliberately cultivate a state of coherence through gratitude, appreciation, calm, love, your heart rate becomes smooth, ordered, and sinusoidal. It sends a signal of safety and harmony to the brain. Your system is in a state of flow and synergy. In this state, you are turning the dial. You are tuning your receiver to a clear, specific frequency. And in this state of coherence, the signal you receive is sharp. Intuition becomes clear as water. Synchronicities become obvious. You feel connected, guided in the flow. Your state of being is not a simple attitude. It is your act of tuning. You choose in every moment which reality station you want to connect to. Practice, calibration and listening to become a master of reception. It is not enough to understand the theory. You must practice the art of tuning until it becomes automatic. The first practice, daily calibration, the morning tuning. You wouldn't start a road trip without tuning into the radio station you want to listen to. In the same way, you shouldn't start the journey of your day without tuning your being. Every morning before the world's noise begins, you dedicate 5 to 10 minutes to your calibration. Sit in silence. Find a comfortable posture. Close your eyes. Focus on the heart. Bring your attention to the center of your chest. Breathe through the heart. Inhale slowly for a count of 5. Exhale slowly for a count of 5, keeping your focus on the heart. Do this for 2 minutes. Activate gratitude. Invoke a genuine feeling of gratitude or appreciation. Feel that emotion in your heart and allow it to expand throughout your body. Hold this feeling for 3 minutes. Set receptive intention. With your receiver now tuned and in coherence, set an open intention for the day. Say inwardly, "Today I choose to tune into the frequency of clarity, guidance, and synchronicity. I am open to receiving the messages of my soul and the universe." You are not asking for anything. You are tuning your radio for the day. You are clearing the static and programming your guardian, the RAS, with a new instruction. The second practice, instantaneous recalibration, the frequency reset. Throughout the day, you will inevitably encounter situations or people that detune you, that pull you out of your state of coherence. The master is not the one who never gets detuned, but the one who knows how to quickly tune back in. This practice is your 60-second frequency reset. Pause. The moment you notice you feel stressed or reactive, stop. Hand to heart. Place a hand over your heart. This is a physical anchor that returns you to your center. 3 coherent breaths. Take 3 slow, deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling through your heart. 1 thought of appreciation. Find a single thing, no matter how small, in your immediate environment for which you can feel appreciation. The color of the sky, the warmth of your coffee cup, the simple fact that you are breathing. This micro-ritual interrupts the stress pattern and returns you in under a minute to a state of greater coherence and receptivity. The third practice, the art of listening, developing the soul's ear. Tuning the radio is the first step. The second is learning to listen to the broadcast. Once you are in a state of coherence, you must learn to receive. This practice is called question and listen. When you need guidance on a decision, instead of trying to think the answer with your logical mind, do the following. Calibrate. Perform your 60-second frequency reset to enter coherence. Formulate the question. Ask a simple, open question of your inner self. What is the most aligned next step for me in this situation? Release and listen. Release the question. Do not look for an answer. Simply remain in silence and in a state of receptivity for 1 or 2 minutes. Do not listen for words in your head. Listen with your whole being. What do you feel? Does an impulse arise? Does an image appear? Do you feel a sense of peace or of tension? You are training yourself to value the received signal, intuition, sensation, above the generated noise, mental analysis. Chapter 3. The Channel of Intuition, the Silent Voice. Intuition is the silent voice of the soul. It is the whisper of the universe in the ear of your heart. It is the premonition, the inexplicable knowing, the hunch that guides you toward your highest good and away from danger long before your logical mind has the data to understand why. It is your built-in GPS navigation system, connected directly to the intelligence of the cosmos. The problem is that we have been conditioned to distrust this voice, to ridicule it, to silence it. We live in a civilization that glorifies the noise of the analytical mind. We value analysis, data, and empirical evidence. If you can't explain it in a spreadsheet, if you can't prove it with data and logic, we are taught then it's not real. It's nonsense, a fantasy, and by adopting this limited view, we have closed the most important communication channel we possess. We have chosen to listen to the noisy, anxious, and often wrong advisor of the ego, and we have ignored the silent sage who resides in the sanctuary of our own heart. This chapter is your initiation into the sacred art of listening again. It is the process of cleaning the rust off your compass and learning to trust its delicate needle again. To do so, you don't need to acquire anything new. You only need to remember a language you already speak, the first language you knew before words arrived. And to remember, we must first become master anatomists, learning to differentiate with surgical precision the anatomy of the soul's voice from the anatomy of the fear's shout. The anatomy of the fear's shout, the traumatized advisor, the voice of your conditioned ego, the voice of fear, is not your enemy. It is crucial to understand this. It is your old bodyguard, a traumatized advisor who operates on outdated information. Its main objective is survival, to keep you safe within the familiar walls of your comfort zone. And its main tool is panic. To capture your attention and make sure you obey its warnings, it needs to be loud, urgent, and dramatic. It is noisy and repetitive, the broken record of panic. The voice of fear is a loop, an obsessive thought that repeats over and over again in your mind. It is the catastrophic what-if that assails you at 3 a.m. It is the litany of your inadequacies that activates before an important presentation. Its volume is high because its strategy is one of flooding. It needs to drown out any other possibility, any other quieter, more hopeful voice. It is the voice that wakes you up at 3 a.m. with a racing heart and a list of imminent catastrophes. It is contractive, the embrace of death. Fear always, without exception, produces a feeling of contraction in your body. It is a visceral somatic no. It is the language of closing, of protection, of armor. Pause right now. Think of a bill that worries you, or a conflict you are avoiding. Feel your body. Do you notice how your shoulders hunch, how your jaw clenches, how your stomach turns into a knot, how your breathing becomes shallow and chest level? Your body literally shrinks. It's preparing for an impact. That is the physiological signature of fear. It is the language of closing, of protection, of death. It is logical and based on the past, the frightened historian. And this is its most cunning tactic. Fear masquerades as reason, logic, and prudence. It justifies its warnings with the irrefutable evidence of your past failures, your wounds, or the horror stories you've heard from others. It is a historian, not a visionary. Its only database is the past. It will tell you, don't launch that business. It's irrational. Remember that 90% of businesses fail. And remember that project of yours that didn't work out 5 years ago. It will tell you, don't trust that person. It's naive. People always betray. Don't you remember your last relationship? Its logic is the impeccable logic of a prisoner who can only conceive of a future that is an exact repetition of the walls of his past. It is an excellent historian, but a terrible visionary. It is urgent and demanding, the tyrant of the now. Fear is always in a hurry. Its energy is frantic and pressing. You have to decide now. You have to do something. If you don't respond now, you'll lose everything. This false urgency is a hijacking tactic of the amygdala, the part of your brain that manages threats. It is designed to prevent you from pausing, from having time to breathe, to center yourself, and to connect with the deeper, calmer wisdom of your heart. The anatomy of the soul's voice. Intuition, the divine advisor. Intuition, the voice of your higher self, operates in a completely different way. It is not a program from the past. It is a signal from the present. It is the voice of wisdom and expansion, not survival. It does not need to shout, because its power does not reside in volume but in the resonance of truth. It is silent and singular, the gemstone flash. Intuition is not an obsessive thought. It is a flash. It is an instantaneous knowing, a download of wisdom that appears in your consciousness in a moment of stillness. It often comes only once with absolute calm and clarity. It doesn't argue, it doesn't debate, it doesn't need to justify itself. It simply presents its truth as a perfectly carved gem and then withdraws into silence, trusting that you have received it. It is expansive, the breath of life. Intuition always, without exception, produces a feeling of expansion in your body. It is a cellular yes. I pause again. Think of an idea that genuinely excites you, a creative project, a trip you long for even if it seems impossible. Feel your body. Do you notice a lightness, an openness in your chest, a smile that forms for no reason, a surge of energy, sometimes even the goosebumps that are the physical confirmation of a spiritual truth? That is the signature of expansion. That is your body saying yes. It is often non-linear and focused on potential, the eagle's vision. Intuition is not limited by the data of your past. Being connected to the field of infinite potentiality, it has an eagle's vision, while the ego has a mole's vision, seeing only the tunnel in front of it. It will often guide you toward paths that your logical mind considers impossible or irrational. It doesn't tell you what is safe. It shows you what is possible. Where fear presents you with a wall, intuition shows you a door you had not seen. It is patient and serene, the sovereign's invitation. Intuition is not in a hurry. Its energy is one of sovereign calm. It doesn't push you or demand or threaten you with terrible consequences if you don't follow it. It invites you. It shows you the door with a quiet certainty, but it gives you the freedom and respect to choose whether to cross it or not, and when. Its energy is that of a wise king or queen, not a frightened tyrant. This absence of pressure and urgency is one of its clearest and most reliable signatures. The first practice, the cultivation of receptive stillness. You have learned to recognize the whisper. Now you must create the acoustic environment in which it can be heard. The fundamental practice is not to actively seek intuition, which creates tension and more mental noise. It is to cultivate stillness, which allows intuition to emerge effortlessly, like a butterfly that lands on your hand when you remain still. Meditation. As listening. Your meditation practice transforms. You no longer sit with the goal of emptying the mind, an impossible task. You sit with the intention of listening. You are the host who prepares the house in an expectant, loving silence, awaiting the arrival of a sacred guest. You sit, focus on your breath to calm the system, and then ask an open question of your inner self. Inner wisdom. What most needs my attention today? And then you let go of the question. You don't seek an answer with your mind. You simply open yourself. You become a receptive space, listening not with your ears, but with your whole body for any feeling, image, or knowing that may arise. Nature as an amplifier. You spend time in nature alone and in silence. The natural world vibrates at the soul's coherent frequency, a frequency free from the human ego. A silent walk in a forest by the sea, or even in a city park, is one of the most potent acts you can perform to quiet the ego's noise and amplify the whisper of your true self. The sanctuary of silence. In addition to formal practices, you begin to weave small sanctuaries of silence into your daily life. You drive without the radio. You wash the dishes without music. You take 5 minutes between meetings to simply look out the window. These are the portals, the cracks in the noise of the modern world through which intuition can slip in. The second practice, the body compass, the oracle of the body. To validate the whisper, especially when your logical mind doubts and presents its list of past evidence, you consult your most faithful and incorruptible oracle, your own body. Your body cannot lie. It doesn't know how. It only knows how to resonate with truth or contract in the face of falsehood. Your practice is that of deliberate somatic consultation. When faced with a decision, big or small, instead of making a list of pros and cons, you perform this resonance check. Center yourself. Sit, close your eyes, and take 3 deep breaths to calm your mind. Present option A. Bring the first option to mind. The option is to accept this job offer. Scan. Now bring all your attention to your body. Without judging, simply scan from head to toe for 30 seconds. What do you feel? A tension in your throat? A knot in your stomach? Heaviness? Name the sensation. Contraction. Or do you feel a lightness in your heart? Openness, energy flowing? Name the sensation. Expansion. Clear the field. Shake your body for a few seconds to clear the energy of that option. Present option B. Repeat the process. The option is to reject this offer and continue trusting. And scan again. Your practice is to honor the answer of this compass above all the arguments of reason. Your body's yes is a more reliable guide than your mind's yes. The third practice, the journal of whispers, your book of evidence. The logical mind is skeptical by nature. To learn to trust the guidance of your intuition, you must present it with irrefutable proof. You become the chronicler of your own silent miracles. Your practice is that of the journal of whispers. You create a specific journal for this purpose. your sacred book of evidence. You divide it into 4 columns: date and whisper. You note down the intuitive guidance you received, however small or strange it may be. My fear, logical doubt. You note down the objection of your fear mind. It makes no sense. Why would I bother him? The act of faith, the action. You note down the action you took to honor the whisper despite the fear. I called the gift, the synchronicity. You leave this space blank. And then, when the purpose of that guidance reveals itself, you return and write down the outcome. I called that person, and it turned out they needed exactly the help I could offer, which led to a new project. This journal becomes your own sacred book, the irrefutable proof written by your own hand that a deeper wisdom is guiding you. And this proof is what, over time, dissolves the doubts of your logical mind and gives you the courage to trust the increasingly larger whispers. The channel of intuition has been revealed to you. You have learned to speak and listen to the language of the soul. Chapter 4. The Body Channel, the Somatic Compass. We have created a civil war at the center of our being. We have been taught that the mind is the center of intelligence, the thinker, the king who sits on the throne in the skull, and that the body is a machine of flesh and bone, an obedient but foolish, sometimes sinful, vehicle whose only function is to transport the brain and satisfy its appetites. This is the great lie that has disconnected us from our deepest, most primal, and most reliable wisdom. It has turned us into floating, disconnected heads, living in the prison of our own thoughts, ignoring the universe of intelligence that vibrates below the neck. The truth is that your body is not a machine. It is a mind. It is an information processing system of astonishing complexity and sensitivity that is in constant dialogue with the field of energy that surrounds it. Your body knows things that your logical mind cannot even begin to comprehend. It is a living oracle, the science of the hunch, the 3 brains of your being. This is not a mystical concept. It is a fact of cutting-edge neurobiology and physiology. Science is, at last, rediscovering the distributed intelligence of our being, validating the wisdom that shamans and yogis have known for millennia. Your consciousness does not reside solely in your head. You have at least 3 centers of intelligence processing in your body. The second brain, the primal gut intelligence. Throughout your entire gastrointestinal tract extends a vast and complex neural network known as the enteric nervous system. With more than 500 million neurons, more than in the spinal cord or in a cat's brain, this gut brain processes information, learns, remembers, and generates gut feelings completely independently of your cranial brain. It is the seat of your primal survival instinct. When you walk into a room and feel an inexplicable bad vibe, it is not your mind that perceives it. It is your gut brain, your animal intelligence, that is picking up subtle signals of danger in other people's body language or energy field and sends you a visceral warning signal. It produces over 90% of your body's serotonin, the neurotransmitter of well-being and calm. A healthy gut is fundamental for a peaceful mind. To ignore this brain is to ignore your oldest and most loyal guardian. The heart's intelligence, the empathic antenna. As we have seen, your heart is not a simple pump. It is the center of your perception system, an electromagnetic antenna, and a neural processing center. The heart brain feels and responds to the surrounding information field long before the signal reaches your logical brain. Its electromagnetic field not only transmits your state, it also receives, probing the environment like a radar. It is particularly sensitive to the electromagnetic fields of other hearts. This is the physical basis of empathy. When you feel what another person is feeling, it is your heart that is literally resonating with the frequency of their heart. It is the antenna that allows you to navigate the relational world, cellular wisdom, the distributed consciousness. Intelligence does not stop there. It is distributed down to the most fundamental level of your being. Each of your trillions of cells is a unit of consciousness. Each cell has a membrane which acts as its own brain, reading thousands of signals from its environment, hormones, neurotransmitters, frequencies, every second, and making incredibly complex decisions to maintain life. Homeostasis in health. Your body is not an object. It is a community of billions of conscious beings, all interconnected in a vast network of intelligence, communicating at the speed of light. And this network, in its entirety, is constantly receiving and processing information from the universe. When you ignore your body, you are not simply ignoring a machine. You are ignoring the advice of trillions of wise counselors who work tirelessly for your well-being. The somatic compass, the binary language of life. How does this vast intelligence communicate with you, with your conscious self? It does so through the simplest, most primal and most binary language that exists, the language of expansion and contraction. This is the fundamental guidance system of all life. Every living organism, from an amoeba in a pond to a human being, operates under this infallible principle. When it encounters something that is good for life, nourishment, safety, coherence, resonance, it opens up, expands, relaxes, and moves toward it. When it encounters something that is bad for life, a toxin, a danger, incoherence, dissonance, it closes up, contracts, tenses up, and moves away from it. This is your somatic compass. It is your built-in truth detector. It cannot be fooled by logic, by appearances, by empty promises, or by superficial positive thinking, expansion, the soul's yes. When you contemplate an idea, a decision, a person, or a place that is in alignment with your deepest truth, your body responds with an expansion. You feel an opening in your chest, a feeling of lightness, a relaxation in your abdomen and shoulders, a deeper breath. It is a unanimous cellular yes from your entire community of trillions of cells. Contraction, the soul's no. When you contemplate something that is out of alignment, even if your logical mind tries to convince you that it is a good opportunity, your body contracts. You feel a knot in your stomach, a tension in your jaw or throat, a feeling of heaviness, a subtle resistance, a something isn't right feeling. It is a visceral no. It is your cellular community screaming in unison, danger. This is not for us. The initiate in the language of the cosmos learns to trust this compass above all others. He knows that his body is the oracle that never lies. The first practice, the art of inhabiting the body, reunification. To be able to listen to your body, you must first return to it. Most of us live as floating heads, exiled from our own kingdom, disconnected from the sensations below the neck. Your first practice is that of conscious habitation, the act of coming home. The body scan protocol, 15 minutes. This is your fundamental practice. It is not a simple relaxation technique. It is an act of sovereignty. Find your space. Lie down or sit in a quiet place where you will not be disturbed. Close your eyes. The intention. Set the intention not to relax but to feel, to listen. The journey. Bring the focus of your attention, like a soft, warm flashlight, to the toes of your left foot. Without judging, without trying to change anything, simply feel. What sensation is there? Tingling, warmth, cold, pressure, nothing? Whatever it is, it's okay. You simply notice it. Hold your attention there for several breaths. Slowly advance. Then slowly move the flashlight of your attention upward, to the top of your foot, to your heel, to your ankle. Then to your calf, your knee, your thigh. You take your time. You are visiting every province of your kingdom, many of which you have not consciously visited in years. Cover the entire body. Continue this slow, methodical journey throughout your entire body. The other leg, your hips, your abdomen, your back, your chest, your hands, your arms, your shoulders, your neck, your face, your head. This act, which seems simple, is profoundly radical. You are withdrawing your energy from the thinking mind and investing it in the feeling mind of your body. You are building the neural superhighways of interoception, the ability to feel your own inner landscape. You are saying to every one of your cells, I see you, I feel you, you are important. The second practice, somatic inquiry, the cellular referendum. Once you have learned to inhabit your body, you can begin to dialogue with it. This practice is your tool for decision-making, from the smallest to the most monumental. When you are faced with a choice, instead of making a list of pros and cons with your logical mind, you perform a referendum with the trillions of cells in your body. The somatic decision protocol. Calibrate. Sit in silence. Take a few deep breaths to center yourself. Present option A. Bring the first option to your mind. Don't analyze it, simply feel it. Imagine you have already said yes. And then bring all your attention to your body, specifically to your central axis, throat, chest, and abdomen. What do you feel? Do you feel a subtle sensation of expansion, of openness, of lightness? Write down the sensation, clear the canvas, completely let go of option A. Shake your body or take a couple of deep breaths to clear the somatic canvas. Present option B. Now, bring the second option to your mind. Again, feel it as if it were already your reality. And listen to your body's response. Do you feel perhaps a slight contraction in your stomach? A heaviness, a subtle resistance, a feeling of something closing? Write down the sensation. The wisdom of your somatic compass is undeniable. The option that feels expansive is the one that is aligned with your soul. The one that feels contractive, no matter how logical or attractive it may seem on paper, is the one that is not. Your practice is to honor this oracle, even and especially when its advice contradicts your mind. The third practice, decoding the symptom, the dialogue with the messenger. The somatic listener knows that a physical symptom, a chronic pain, a persistent tension, an illness is not a random mechanical failure. It is a message. It is your body's way, your subconscious's way, of shouting a truth that your conscious mind has refused to hear in whispers. The symptom is the messenger, and often, the messenger gets louder until you read its letter. The dialogue with the symptom protocol. Inhabit the symptom. In your meditation, bring your attention to the area of pain or discomfort, not with resistance or fear, but with a compassionate curiosity. Instead of trying to make it go away, get closer to it. Describe the sensation. Without using labels like pain, describe the pure physical sensation. Is it sharp, dull, hot, cold? What shape does it have? What color? Ask. Now you speak directly to the sensation. You ask it, what message do you have for me? What truth am I ignoring? What unfelt emotion are you holding? What burden am I carrying that I need to let go of? Listen, and then you listen in silence. Not with your ears. The answer may come as an image, a memory, a single word, a new sensation. Perhaps the shoulder pain whispers to you, you are carrying the responsibility for everyone's happiness. Perhaps the tension in your jaw tells you, there are words of anger you need to express. Give thanks and negotiate. You thank the symptom for its message, and then you can negotiate. Thank you for this information. I commit to action inspired by the message. Now that I have received your message, are you willing to release your intensity? The fourth practice, somatic release, letting go of trapped energy. Once you have received the emotions message, you often need to help the body release the energy that has been trapped, sometimes for decades, conscious shaking. Sometimes, by paying attention to an area of tension, your body may start to tremble or vibrate spontaneously. Do not stop it. This is your nervous system's natural mechanism for discharging accumulated survival energy, stress, trauma. It is a profoundly healing release. Vocalization. Sound is vibration. Allow any sound that wants to emerge to do so. A deep sigh, a yawn, a moan, a muffled scream into a pillow. Sound is one of the fastest ways to move stagnant energy. The body channel has been revealed to you. Your body is not an unpredictable machine that breaks down by chance. It is your most intimate creation, a canvas that always reflects the art of your mind. You are no longer a victim of your biology. You are its architect. You have the power to dissolve the patterns of disease and to project with unshakable faith the image of the divine perfection that is your true natural state. Chapter 5. The Channel of Dreams, the Nightly Oracle. Society in general has committed a great sacrilege. It has desacralized sleep. We see it as a simple biological reset process, a necessary evil in our pursuit of productivity. And dreams at best, we see as the neural garbage that the brain sweeps away while we sleep. We are told they are random electrical impulses, meaningless fantasies, the chaotic echo of our daily worries. This is one of the greatest and most tragic blind spots of our era. We have turned a third of our lives, a sacred portal to wisdom, into an insignificant void. Ancient cultures knew the truth. The Egyptians, the Greeks, the Australian Aborigines, the shamans of all traditions, saw sleep not as an end, but as a beginning. Not as an absence of consciousness, but as a shift in consciousness. They understood that during sleep, we are freed from the chains of the logical mind and linear time, and our soul travels to a much vaster field of information. Your dreams are not garbage. They are communications. They are coded telegrams, sent from the depths of your own subconscious mind and often from the universal mind itself, using the only language they understand, the symbol, the language of symbols. Why are dreams weird? To be able to interpret these messages, you must first understand the language in which they are written. And that language is not the linear logic of wakefulness. It is the primordial language, the language of the symbol. Your subconscious mind, the dreaming mind, is your archetypal mind. It does not think in subject-verb-predicate sentences. It thinks in images, in feelings, in metaphors, in stories. It is the language of art, of poetry, of myth. A symbol is not a simple image. It is a compressed data packet, loaded with an amount of information and emotional nuance that 1,000 words could not match. A dream will never tell you directly. You are in a job that is suffocating your soul and you feel trapped. That is too simple, too crude for the wisdom of the soul. Instead, you may dream that you are trapped in a tight diving suit that won't let you breathe at the bottom of a dark ocean. The feeling of suffocation and pressure is much more potent and visceral than any logical phrase. It won't tell you. You have immense creative potential that you are not using. Instead, you will dream that you have a treasure buried in the basement of your childhood home, and you can't find the shovel to dig it up. The message is the same, but its emotional impact and richness of nuance are infinitely greater. Learning to interpret your dreams is learning to be a translator of symbols. A poet of your own inner landscape. The 3 types of dreams classifying the nightly mail every night. Your dream mailbox receives different types of messages. To become a skilled interpreter, you must learn to classify your mail, to differentiate between spam and important letters. Processing dreams, the soul's laundry. The vast majority of our dreams fall into this category. They are the way our psyche processes, digests, archives, and often releases the day's emotional events. They are like the nightly cleaning crew that tidies up your mind. If you've had a heated argument, your dream may recreate that energy to release it from your nervous system. If you're worried about a project, you may dream about it in strange, symbolic ways. These dreams are vital for your mental health, but they don't usually contain a prophetic message or deep guidance. They are the echo of your day. Recognizing them allows you not to obsess over interpreting every small detail. Liberation dreams, encounters with the shadow. Sometimes, the nightly oracle sends us much more intense, more charged messages. Nightmares or anxiety dreams are not attacks. They are not a bad omen. They are opportunities for healing. They are your subconscious's way of bringing a repressed emotion, a deep fear or an unresolved trauma that you have been avoiding in your conscious life to the surface. It presents it to you in the safe environment of the dream so that you can, at last, look it in the face and release it. A recurring dream of being chased, for example, is often an invitation for you to stop, turn around, and confront what you have been running from in your life. A difficult conversation, a decision, a part of yourself that you have denied. A dream of falling into a void may be signaling a lack of control or support in your life. These dreams are not to be feared. They are to be honored. They are your wounds knocking at the door asking to be healed. Guidance dreams, the oracle's messages. Finally, there are the most sacred and mysterious dreams. The ones that are not an echo of the past or a purge of the present, but a signal of the potential future or a direct communication from a higher intelligence. They are direct messages from your higher self or the universal mind. Solution dreams. You can, as we will see, commission a problem to your subconscious before sleeping. The answer often arrives in a dream in a symbolic way. The chemist Kekulé discovered the ring structure of benzene by dreaming of a snake biting its own tail. The inventor Elias Howe dreamed of warriors carrying spears with holes near the tip, which gave him the solution for the sewing machine needle. Inspiration dreams, great works of art, poems and melodies have been born on the canvas of a dream. They are downloads of creative information from the universal field. Without the ego's filter, precognitive dreams. And yes, sometimes dreams give us a glimpse of a probable future, a premonition that warns us, prepares us, or guides us. It is not a fixed destiny, but a sign of the path we are on if we maintain our current vibration, giving us the opportunity to change course if necessary. The first practice, the art of invitation, the dream intention ritual. To remember your dreams, you must first invite them. You must show your subconscious, that deep and sensitive part of you, that its messages are valued, that they will be listened to with respect, and that they will not be dismissed as nonsense in the morning. Your practice begins just before sleep, the conscious intention. You take your dream journal, which from now on lives next to your bed, and with a pen in your hand you declare with a clear intention, by writing it or saying it out loud, "Tonight I will remember my dreams with clarity and ease upon waking. My dreams contain valuable guidance for my highest good, and I am open and ready to receive it." This simple declaration is like sending a formal invitation to the oracle. The specific question, optional. If you are seeking guidance on a specific topic, you can formulate a clear question. "Inner wisdom tonight. Please give me clarity about your question." Write the question in your journal. You have planted a seed in the garden of your night. The physical anchor. The act of having a journal and a pen dedicated exclusively to this purpose is a powerful physical anchor. It is a tangible signal to your subconscious that you are taking this communication seriously. It's like installing a new, shiny mailbox for the nightly mail. The second practice, the art of returning, fishing for the silver fish. The memory of a dream is like a silver fish that lives in the deep waters of consciousness. To be able to catch it, you cannot move abruptly when you wake up. You must remain still in silence and gently draw it to the surface. Absolute immobility. The golden rule is, do not move. The moment you realize you are waking up, remain in the same position you were in. Do not open your eyes immediately. Do not grab your phone. Do not think about your to-do list for the day. The memory of a dream is incredibly delicate and resides in the fragile state between theta brainwaves, sleep, and alpha, relaxation. An abrupt movement or a stressful thought throws you into the beta state, analytical wakefulness, and the memory vanishes like fog in the sun. The gentle question. In that stillness, do not try to grab the dream with your logical mind. What did I dream? What did I dream? That will scare the fish away. Simply ask in silence with a relaxed curiosity, what was I dreaming about? And wait. Release the question. The emotional thread. Often the first thing that returns is not an image, but a feeling. How did you feel just before waking up? Joyful, scared, perplexed? Hold on to that emotional thread. It is the thread of Ariadne that will guide you back to the labyrinth of the dream. Immediate capture. And the moment you have the slightest fragment, a feeling, an image, a word without moving too much, grab your journal and write it down. Immediately. Write down everything you remember, no matter how illogical, embarrassing, or insignificant it may seem. Draw the symbols if necessary. The conscious mind is an acid that dissolves dreams. If you wait 5 minutes, the memory will be gone. The third practice, the art of interpretation, the dialogue with symbols. Once you have captured the dream in your journal, the work of the translator begins. And here the biggest secret is that you and only you have the dictionary. Do not look for generic dream dictionaries on the internet. The language of symbols is deeply personal. A snake can mean healing for one person and betrayal for another. Your practice is that of associative interpretation and dialogue. Give it a title. Give the dream a title that captures its essence. The treasure in the basement. The chase in the fog. Identify the central emotion. What was the dominant feeling throughout the dream? The emotion is the key that gives you the tone of the message. Identify the main symbols. Choose the 3 or 4 most striking or recurring elements of the dream. A person, an object, a place, an animal, a color. Ask the oracle's question. And for each symbol, you ask yourself the question, what does the symbol mean to me? What personal associations, what memories, what feelings does the word river or abandoned house, or the image of that particular person evoke in you? Write down the first thing that comes to mind without censorship. Become the symbol. This is the most powerful technique. Choose the most potent symbol from your dream. Close your eyes and imagine that you are that symbol. And from that perspective, speak or write in the first person. I am the abandoned house in your dream. I represent that part of you that you have neglected, your forgotten potential. I am waiting for you to return, for you to open my windows and let the light in. Synthesize the message. Finally, you bring the central emotion together with the meaning of your personal symbols and ask yourself, what is the central message that my soul is trying to send me with this story? What is it inviting me to see, to heal, or to do? The channel of dreams has been revealed to you. You have learned that your dreams are not random noise. They are your most intimate conversation with the universe, a sacred dialogue that, if you learn to listen, will guide you with a wisdom and a power that your waking mind can never equal. Chapter 6. The Channel of Synchronicity, Meaningful Coincidences. The untrained mind, trapped in a materialistic, random view of the world, lives in a universe of coincidences. It sees the events of its life as isolated, disconnected and meaningless phenomena. For if it thinks of a song and 5 minutes later hears it on the radio, it calls it a curious coincidence. If it meets the right person who can help with its project at the perfect moment, it calls it a stroke of luck. It marvels for an instant, smiles and then forgets, blind to the pattern, deaf to the language. The initiate in the frequency of the cosmos knows the truth. He knows that coincidences do not exist. Only resonance made visible exists. The great psychiatrist Carl Jung, one of the bravest explorers of the bridge between the psyche and matter, coined the term synchronicity to describe this phenomenon. He defined it as a principle of a causal connection, that is, two or more events that are connected in a meaningful way, not by a linear, visible cause and effect relationship, ball A hits ball B, but by the shared meaning they have for the observer. From the quantum perspective we have been exploring, the explanation is even deeper and more powerful. Synchronicity is not a simple, meaningful coincidence. It is the tangible evidence, the first observable feedback, that the quantum field is reorganizing in response to your new vibration. When you change your inner state, when you emit a new coherent signal to the ocean of potentiality, that signal, like a stone thrown into a calm pond, creates ripples that expand in all directions. And synchronicity is the first of those ripples that returns to the shore of your perception. It is the first echo that the universe gives you back, an acknowledgement that confirms that your new broadcast is being received with clarity, and that the vast, invisible machinery of creation has been set in motion to orchestrate your new reality. A synchronicity is not an external magical event that happens to you. It is the manifestation of your own changing energy, reflected in the mirror of the world. It is the universe winking at you, the grammar of the universe. Types of synchronicity. To stop being illiterate in this cosmic dialogue, you must learn the grammar of the universe. The universe communicates through a subtle grammar of symbols, encounters, and events. To become a fluent translator, you must learn to recognize its three main types of messages. The synchronicity of confirmation, the cosmic. Received. These are often the first and most subtle signals to appear after you have set a new intention or reached a new level of coherence. They are small winks from the universe, designed to strengthen your faith, to anchor your new vibration, and to let you know that your message has been received. They are the cosmic received. Repeating numbers. Suddenly, you start seeing sequences of numbers, 1111, 222, 333, 444 everywhere, on clocks, car license plates, receipts, page numbers. The logical mind tries to dismiss it as confirmation bias, but your intuition feels the resonance, the small spark of recognition. Do not obsess over looking for an esoteric dictionary of meanings. Simply understand these sequences as a simple thumbs up from universal intelligence. Received, we're on it. Keep vibrating this way. Personal symbols. You start to find objects or see images that have a special personal meaning for you. It could be a feather on your path, just when you were asking for a sign of lightness and freedom, or the recurring image of a lion or an eagle when you are cultivating courage and vision. These are totems that the universe presents to you to remind you of the quality you are embodying. Auditory confirmation. You think of a question, and the first song that plays on the radio contains the exact answer in its lyrics. Or you walk down the street deep in doubt, and you hear two strangers say the precise phrase you needed to hear. It is the universe using the world as its speaker. These signals are not the manifestation itself. They are the appetizer. They are the trailer for the movie that is coming. They are the universe's way of telling you, trust, stay in this vibration. The magic is underway. The synchronicity of guidance, the breadcrumbs on the path. These signals are more active, more direct. They don't just confirm that you are on the right path. They show you the next tangible step. They are like the breadcrumbs that the universe leaves to guide you through the forest of life to your destination. Guidance through others. The universe often conspires through other people. A friend, out of nowhere, mentions a book that contains the exact information you need for your project. You meet someone at a party who happens to be an expert in the specific field you need help with. Your mother forwards you an email that contains a perfect opportunity for you. Guidance through information. You casually come across an article on the internet, a YouTube video, or a podcast that answers the exact question you had asked yourself that same morning. It is modern bibliomancy, the art of finding guidance in seemingly random texts. Guidance through intuitive impulse. Along with your intuition, the inner whisper, you feel an inexplicable impulse to go to a certain place, to take a different route home, to contact an old friend. And by following that illogical impulse, you find the opportunity, the person, or the information you needed. These are not coincidences. They are the next steps of the divine plan, revealed one by one. The universe doesn't show you the whole map. It only illuminates the next foot of the path. The synchronicity of opportunity, the open door. Finally, as your energy becomes more and more coherent and sustained, synchronicities become more tangible and potent. They cease to be simple clues and winks, and become doors that open wide right in front of you, often where there was only a wall before. You receive a call or an email with an unexpected job offer that aligns perfectly with the new career you had been visualizing, an opportunity to invest in a project that deeply resonates with your soul appears, and the money to do so appears from an unexpected source. The perfect house that meets all your criteria appears on the market the same day you decide to start looking, at a price you can afford. The right person, who seems to be the reflection of the partner you had defined in your heart, sits next to you on a plane. These are not luck. They are the result of the reorganization of material reality to correspond with the coherence and power of your energy field. They are the harvest. They are proof that you have moved from being a simple dreamer to being an architect of reality, a co-creating partner of the cosmos. The first step to listening is not to seek for signs with anxiety, which places you back in the energy of the seeker. It is to cultivate the state of being receptive. You must learn to slow down your brain waves, to move to the alpha state, the bridge to the subconscious mind and the language of the universe. Your practice is to take coherence pauses or alpha resets throughout the day. Pause. Every hour or two, or whenever you feel stressed, take a 3-minute pause. Tune in. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly and deeply through your heart. Generate a genuine feeling of gratitude or appreciation. Ask and release. Formulate a silent question. Universe, what do I need to see right now? And then release the question. Open your eyes. Return to your day with soft eyes, with a relaxed and open perception, curious about what the universe will show you. This simple act is a neurological reset. It takes you out of beta survival mode and puts you into alpha creation and receptivity mode. The second practice, the art of interpretation, the personal dictionary. You have seen a signal, a repeating number, an animal, a word. The logical mind wants an external answer, a universal dictionary of symbols. But the universe speaks to you in a deeply personal language. A spider can mean creativity for you and danger for someone else. Your personal resonance is the only dictionary that matters. Note the signal. Observe the synchronicity without judgment. Note the context. Ask yourself, what was I thinking or feeling just before this sign appeared? The context is 90% of the message. Feel the resonance. Ask yourself, what is the first thing I feel, the first word or image that comes to mind when I see this? Trust that first intuitive response. The correct interpretation always feels resonant, like an inner click. Look for the invitation. Ask yourself, what simple, positive action does this sign seem to be inviting me to take? The art of interpretation is the art of learning to trust the wisdom of your own heart above the noise of your head. The third practice, following the breadcrumbs, the dance of co-creation. Recognizing a sign is the first step. Interpreting it is the second. Having the courage to act on it is the third and most crucial. Every synchronicity is an invitation to action, a breadcrumb on the path to your manifested future. Manifestation rarely occurs as a single great event. It often unfolds as a cascade of synchronicities that require your conscious and courageous participation. It is a dance. Imagine a creator, Leo, who has set the intention to launch a new sustainable gardening project. He has done his inner work and has surrendered the how. First signal. One day he sees a synchronicity. The name of a city he doesn't know, Alba, appears 3 times in different contexts. It is a confirmation signal. First action, trust. Leo trusts. He takes a small inspired action. He searches for Alba sustainable gardening on the internet. Second signal. He discovers that in that city, in 2 months, a small conference called The Garden's Dawn on permaculture is being held. The name Dawn, Alba, is a second resonance. It is a guidance signal. Second action. His logical mind protests, "It's expensive, I don't know anyone. It's a waste of time." But his somatic compass gives him an expansive yes. He buys the ticket, taking a leap of faith. Third signal. At the conference, he overhears a conversation with a keyword related to a technical problem he hasn't been able to solve in his project. It is an opportunity signal. Third action. With cultivated courage, he introduces himself. It turns out that person is one of the few experts in the world on a crucial irrigation system he was missing. That connection, born of a cascade of synchronicities and acts of trust, becomes the key that launches his project to success. The quantum creator understands that life is this dance of co-creation. He sends the signal. The universe responds with a breadcrumb. He takes the next inspired step, and the universe shows him the next breadcrumb. The echoes of the void are no longer coincidences. They have become your navigation system, the GPS of your soul, the constant confirmation that you are in dialogue with the cosmos. You have learned to read the universe's feedback. You are no longer a traveler walking blindly in a random world. You are a quantum explorer, guided moment by the echoes of your own consciousness, reflected in the mirror of the world. Chapter 7. The Channel of Nature, the Patterns of Life. We have exiled ourselves from the garden. We have disconnected from nature. We see it as a resource to be exploited for our economy, as a landscape to be photographed for our social media, or as a park to be visited on weekends to disconnect from our real life. We see it as something external to us, something separate, something that is out there. We have forgotten the primordial truth that all our ancestors knew in their bones. We are not in nature. We are nature. We are an expression, a manifestation, a facet of the same unfathomable intelligence that makes planets spin in their orbits, that makes flowers bloom in spring, and that guides birds on their annual migration across continents. The same elements forged in the heart of stars make up the blood that runs in your veins. Your circadian rhythm dances with the sun and the moon. You are literally stardust that has awakened to contemplate the other stars. And because of this fundamental unity, nature is the largest, most honest, and most compassionate mirror of our own soul. Its cycles, its laws, and its patterns are the same cycles, laws, and patterns that govern our growth, our healing, and our manifestation. Before there was any sacred book, any guru, any teaching, nature was the first and greatest of the scriptures. To tune into the frequency of the cosmos, you must first learn to read the book that is under your feet and over your head. The great lessons of the natural world, the living principles. Nature does not speak to us with words, but with living principles, with embodied truths. To tune into its channel, we must go from being tourists of nature to being its devoted students, observing its great lessons. The lesson of gestation, the wisdom of the seed, perhaps the greatest and most difficult lesson for the modern mind, addicted to immediacy, is that of patience. And nowhere is it taught with more clarity and power than in the silent miracle of a seed. An oak seed does not become a majestic tree overnight. It contains the complete blueprint, the potentiality of the oak, but it surrenders to a gestation process that is slow, dark, and for the most part, invisible. Trust in the darkness. The seed does not fear the darkness of the earth. It knows that it is in that stillness, in that apparent void, where it must put down its roots, where the most fundamental transformation must occur. In the same way, our greatest dreams, our deepest transformations, often require a period of darkness, of introspection, of invisible inner work, before they can sprout with force in the world. Hidden growth. The gardener does not see the roots spreading, searching for water and anchoring themselves in the depth, but he trusts that the most important work is being done. In the same way, when you plant an intention in your consciousness, most of the work of the universal machinery is invisible to your senses. The universe is putting down roots for you, orchestrating circumstances, moving pieces, long before you see the first sprout of synchronicity. Divine time. Every seed has its own perfect gestation period. You cannot accelerate the growth of an oak tree by yelling at it or pulling on its leaves. You must trust in its intrinsic rhythm. In the same way, each of your desires has its own divine time of manifestation, a time that your impatient ego cannot comprehend, but which your soul knows is perfect. The lesson of the seasons, the wisdom of rhythm. Nature teaches us that life is not a straight line of constant, upward progress. That is the fantasy of the ego. Life is a cycle. It is a dance of 4 seasons. And every season is sacred and necessary for the whole. Winter, the low tide. It is the time for rest, for introspection, for the death of the old, for letting go. It is the fertile void. Nature does not fight winter. It surrenders to it, knowing that it is the necessary period to accumulate the energy for rebirth. Spring, the beginning of the flow. It is the time for rebirth, for new life, for inspiration, for planting new seeds. The energy that accumulated in the silence of winter now sprouts with a renewed force and a new direction. Summer, the high tide. It is the time of maximum expansion, of visible growth, of full expression. It is the sun, the action, the joy, the celebration of life at its peak. Autumn, the harvest and the release. It is the time for harvest, for gathering the fruits of our labor. And crucially, it is also the time for letting go, for releasing the dead leaves, for freeing what no longer serves us in preparation for the next winter. Our culture suffers from an addiction to perpetual summer. We want to be in a state of maximum productivity, of constant expansion, of visibility, and we see the autumn and winter of our lives, the periods of rest, of contraction, of not knowing, of sadness, as a failure. Nature teaches us that this is a wrong and exhausting view. Winter is not the opposite of summer. It is its necessary complement. Without the rest of winter, spring would not have the strength to be born. The lesson of the ecosystem, the wisdom of interconnection. Finally, nature teaches us the truth of interconnection. A forest is not a collection of individual trees competing for sunlight. It is an interconnected superorganism. Through a vast underground network of fungi, the mycelial network, the trees communicate, share nutrients, and warn each other of dangers. The largest, oldest tree, the mother of the forest, nurtures the younger trees around it. The lesson is profound. We prosper not in the ego's competitive isolation, but in symbiotic connection. Your well-being is intrinsically linked to the well-being of others and of the planet. Nature teaches us that generosity is not an act of sacrifice, but the smartest strategy for the survival and flourishing of the whole. The first practice, nature as an oracle, the question walk. You have learned to read the universal patterns of nature. Now learn to ask it personal questions. Your practice is that of oracle consultation. Formulate your question. You take a question, a challenge, or a doubt that is bothering you. Not a yes or no question, but an open-ended one. What energy do I need to embody to overcome this obstacle? Or what perspective do I need to adopt about this situation? Go for a walk. You go for a walk in a park, a forest, a beach. You leave your phone. You don't listen to music or podcasts. Your only intention is to be present. Maintain receptivity. You do not actively search for an answer with your logical mind. You simply walk with the question in your heart, in a state of receptivity with soft eyes. And you observe. What naturally and spontaneously catches your attention? Perhaps it is a small ant struggling to carry a load 10 times its size. And you feel an inner resonance, a reminder of your own strength and resilience. Perhaps it is an old, gnarled tree that, despite its wounds and broken branches, still blossoms in spring, teaching you that your scars do not define your ability to bear fruit. Perhaps it is a river that does not fight against a large rock in its path, but flows around it with fluidity, showing you the wisdom of non-resistance and adaptation. Receive the message. The universe will speak to you through its living symbols. Your only job is to be present and silent enough to receive the message. Trust the first interpretation that comes to you intuitively. The second practice, nature as a healer, the frequency bath. You have learned that nature is a teacher. Now learn to use it as a healer. Your body, which is nature, longs to reconnect with its source. Your practice is that of the frequency bath, grounding, earthing. You take off your shoes and you walk barefoot on the grass, the sand, the earth. You feel the direct connection. On a physical level, science has shown that you are absorbing the free electrons from the Earth's surface, which are a potent anti-inflammatory for your body. On an energetic level, you are discharging the excess stress, mental static, and anxiety from your electromagnetic field into the planet's immense stabilizing field. You are anchoring yourself in the frequency of calm, forest bathing, Shinrin-yoku. You immerse yourself in the atmosphere of a forest, not to exercise but to absorb its essence. You breathe deeply the phytoncides, the essential oils that trees release into the air, and which have been shown to strengthen your immune system and reduce cortisol. You listen to the bioacoustics of the forest, the sounds of life which recalibrate your nervous system. You observe the fractal patterns in the leaves and branches which have a calming, ordering effect on the brain. Water cleansing. You go to a body of moving water, a river, the sea. Water is the great emotional cleanser. Simply sitting near it and listening to its sound can calm your mind. Dipping your feet or hands in the water with the intention of releasing a heavy emotion is a powerful ritual of purification. The third practice, aligning with the cycles, the cyclical life. Finally, you don't just observe the seasons of the world. You begin to dance with the seasons of your own being. Your practice is that of the cyclical life. You recognize that you, like the earth, are not linear. You have your own rhythms and seasons. To do this, you can use a cyclical journal. Every day, you rate on a scale of 1 to 10 your level of physical energy. Do you feel expansive or do you need to rest? Creative energy. Are you full of ideas or in a period of incubation? Social energy. Do you want to connect or do you need solitude? Over time, you will begin to see your own patterns, your own personal winters, springs, summers, and autumns. And with this wisdom, you stop fighting against your own rhythms and learn to honor them. In your personal winter periods of low energy, of introspection, you give yourself permission to rest without guilt, knowing that you are accumulating strength. In your springs, when energy and ideas return, you allow yourself to start new projects with a renewed force. In your summers, you allow yourself maximum expansion, visibility, and expression. And in your autumns, you celebrate your harvests, complete projects, and learn to let go of what no longer serves you to prepare for the next cycle. The channel of nature has been revealed to you. You have learned that your body and soul are not separate from the cosmos. You have learned to read the divine scripture, written in the leaves and the tides. You have learned to be a student, unobserving, and to become a healer, listening in the great sanctuary of the living world. Chapter 8. The Channel of Relationships, the Human Mirror. The greatest source of suffering and also of joy in the human experience comes from our interactions with others. We live in a state of constant reaction to the people around us. We believe, with an absolute and unquestioned conviction, that it is others who make us feel a certain way. He made me angry with his comment. She hurt me with her indifference. My parents made me feel insecure with their criticism. In this paradigm, which is humanity's collective hypnosis, we are the passive victims of the actions and words of others. Our emotional state is a ship adrift, without a rudder, struck by the unpredictable waves of others' behavior. We spend our lives trying to control those waves, begging others to change so that we at last can feel at peace. It is an exhausting strategy and is doomed to failure. The knowledge of the frequency of the cosmos invites us to a radical and sovereign inversion of this perception. It reveals a fundamental law. No one can make you feel anything. People and circumstances do not create your emotions. They simply activate them. They are like the finger that presses a key on your inner piano. The finger does not create the sound. It only plays the note that was already tuned and waiting in your instrument. Every person in your life is a mirror that does not reflect your physical face but your consciousness, your vibrational state. The external world, and especially the people in it, can only reflect back to you with perfect fidelity the state of your own inner world. This is the law of resonance applied to the field of relationships. You do not attract people into your life by chance or by a cruel destiny. You attract them because they are a vibrational correspondence to your own dominant frequency, to your subconscious beliefs, and most importantly, to your unhealed wounds. You are a tuning fork, and the people who enter your field are other tuning forks that, by physical law, have begun to vibrate in sympathy with your own song. If you don't like the dissonant music you are hearing in your relationships, you should not try to break the other instruments. You must learn to change the note that you yourself are playing. The two types of mirrors, the kind master and the difficult master. The universe sends you messengers constantly through the people you meet. And these messengers, these mirrors, appear in two main forms, both sacred and necessary. The harmonious mirror, the reflection of your realized soul. These are the kind masters. They are the people in your life who reflect your highest qualities, your realized potential, the music of your soul. The friend who sees your potential even when you doubt it, reflecting your own higher self. The partner who celebrates your strengths, loves your quirks, and inspires you to be the best version of yourself, reflecting the love you have learned to give yourself. The mentor who recognizes your unique gift and helps you develop it, reflecting a wisdom that already resides within you. These relationships are a gift and a confirmation. They are the reflection of the parts of yourself that you have already healed, that you have learned to love and accept. They are the external evidence of your own inner light. When you find them, celebrate them. They are proof that your inner work is bearing fruit. The dissonant mirror, the reflection of your wounded shadow. And then, there are the difficult masters. These are the most important mirrors, the most painful, the most challenging, and the ones that teach us the most. They are the people who trigger us, who push our buttons, who throw us off our center with astonishing ease, the critical boss who makes you feel incompetent and small, the emotionally distant partner who triggers your abandonment wound, the family member who judges you and makes you feel ashamed of who you are. Our instinctive and programmed reaction to these mirrors is that of the victim. We blame the mirror for the reflection. You are a bad mirror. Show me a prettier image. We try to change it, fix it, convince it, please it. Or if all else fails, we try to break it or run from it. But the initiate in the frequency of the cosmos knows that running from a mirror is useless, because wherever you go, you take your own face with you. And the universe, in its infinite patience and love, will simply send you a new mirror with a different face, but with the same function. That shows you the exact same reflection you refuse to see. The purpose of a difficult master is sacred. He is not in your life to punish you. He is in your life to illuminate, with the precision of a laser surgeon, the unhealed wound, the limiting belief, or the repressed shadow that resides in your own consciousness and is preventing you from moving forward. If you constantly find yourself with a critical boss, the universe is not telling you that your boss is a bad person. It is telling you, look inward. Where does the relentless critic reside in your own mind? What part of you believes you are not good enough? The boss is just an external amplifier of the voice that is already attacking you from within. If you repeatedly attract emotionally unavailable or betraying partners, the mirror is showing you, where are you unavailable to your own heart? Where do you betray yourself, your values, your intuition? What part of you is terrified of true intimacy and chooses safe people who will never get too close? If you experience others' judgment, the mirror is often asking you, where are you judging yourself with the same harshness? Or what part of you longs to express itself in a way that you judge in others? The difficult master is the messenger who brings the letter you don't want to read, but which holds the key to your own liberation. He is not your enemy. He is your personal guru in disguise. The first practice, the art of reading the mirror, the emotional trigger protocol. You have learned that the mirror does not lie. Now you must learn to read its message. When a person triggers you emotionally, when they push one of your buttons, that is the moment of truth. Instead of falling into the spiral of blame and judgment toward the other person, You become a detective of your own soul. The emotional trigger protocol. In the moment of the trigger or afterward, in the stillness of your journal, you answer these 3 questions. What exact emotion am I feeling? Name it with the greatest precision possible. Don't just say bad. Is it anger? Humiliation? A feeling of abandonment? Helplessness? Be specific. The emotion is the starting point of the treasure map. What belief about myself or the world is being activated by this situation? Follow the trail of the emotion to the belief that fuels it. To find it, complete the sentence. This situation makes me feel emotion, which means that I am belief about yourself. For example, my boss criticized me, I feel humiliated, which means that I am incompetent. My partner didn't reply, I feel abandoned, which means that I am not worthy of love. You have found the wound. Where in my past did I learn to feel this way? Who was the first mirror that showed me this image? Travel back in time in your mind. Often you will discover that the current situation is just an echo. That the sharp pain you feel is not proportional to the present event. It is the echo of the pain you felt with your father, your mother, a teacher, in a situation from your childhood where that belief was forged. This act of inquiry is an act of supreme power. It takes you out of the victim role, he made me feel incompetent, and places you in the role of the conscious and sovereign observer. He activated my pre-existing belief of incompetence. The second practice, the act of reclaiming the projection, the shadow integration. Sometimes, the mirror doesn't reflect a wound, but a part of you that you have banished. Deep psychology teaches us that what most irritates, bothers, or we judge in others is often a quality of our own that we have repressed and don't allow ourselves to express, our shadow. If someone's arrogance irritates you, the mirror is inviting you to examine your own relationship with confidence and self-worth. Have you perhaps repressed your own healthy self-confidence for fear of being judged as arrogant? If someone's laziness bothers you, where are you denying yourself necessary rest, living under the tyranny of productivity? If you judge someone for being too emotional, what emotions have you forbidden yourself from feeling and expressing? The I am that too practice. In the privacy of your consciousness, you perform an act of radical honesty. You bring to mind the person who triggers you and the quality that irritates you. And you say inwardly, I am that too. You look for the seed of that quality within you, where even if it's just 1%, am I also arrogant, lazy, emotional? Then you ask yourself, how would integrating a healthy version of this quality serve me in my life? This act dissolves judgment, returns you to wholeness, and frees you from the power the other person had over you. The third practice, polishing your own mirror, the conscious blessing. Finally, by healing your inner world, by changing your own vibration, the reflection in the mirror must inevitably change. Your practice is that of conscious projection. In your meditation, you bring to mind the image of your difficult master, and instead of sending him the energy of anger, judgment, or resentment, you deliberately send him a blessing. You see the wounded child behind his mask and offer him compassion. I wish you peace. I wish you healing. I wish you to find the same liberation I am finding. You do this not for them. You do it for yourself. It is the act of cleansing your own energy field of the vibration of conflict. You are changing the note you play. And by changing your broadcast by the law of resonance, the reflection must change. One of 2 things will happen. The person will miraculously change their behavior toward you because your new frequency no longer triggers their wound. Or if their pattern is too deeply ingrained, they will naturally and without conflict move away from your life because their dissonant frequency can no longer find resonance in your harmonious field. The fourth practice, relational sovereignty, setting vibrational boundaries. Understanding. The mirror does not turn you into a doormat. Sovereignty includes the sacred right to protect your frequency. This practice is that of setting boundaries, but not from reaction but from awareness. A reactive boundary is born of anger and blame. I can't believe you did this to me. Get away from me. A sovereign boundary is born of self-love and clarity. I appreciate you, but I am not available for this dynamic of criticism, drama, disrespect. This is the line. If you cross it, I will have to distance myself to protect my peace. The sovereign boundary does not seek to punish the other. It seeks to honor yourself. It is the declaration, that your inner state is more important than external approval. Chapter 9. The Master Frequency, Gratitude and Love. Now we come to mastery, to the final question. If the universe is a symphony with infinite notes and melodies, is there a fundamental note? Is there a master frequency that, when played, automatically tunes all other instruments and clarifies all other signals? The answer is yes. Throughout this manual, we have talked about a spectrum of frequencies from the densest of fear to the lightest of joy. But not all frequencies are equal. At the top of the scale reside two twin forces that are not simply positive emotions. They are of a different nature. They are the native frequency of the universe, the original vibration of the source itself. They are gratitude and love. If the universe is a symphony, gratitude and love are its fundamental note, the resonant tone upon which all other harmonies are built. Gratitude is the frequency of reception. It is the energy of the open hand, of the open heart. It is the vibrational declaration that says, I trust I am open. I recognize the good that is already here, and the good that is on its way. It is the cosmic Amen. Love in its highest unconditional and impersonal form is the frequency of unity. It is the energy that dissolves the illusion of separation. It is the recognition that you and the universe are not two but one. It is the vibration of wholeness. When you deliberately tune into these two frequencies, you stop being a simple receiver trying to decipher a distant signal amidst static. You become one with the transmission itself. You stop being the instrument, and you become the music, the science of the master frequency. The power of these states is not a poetic idea or a sentimental fantasy. It is a biophysical fact, a law of creation. The engine of coherence, the universal noise filter. As we already know, the state of coherence between the heart and the brain is the dial that allows us to tune in with clarity, and the emotions of gratitude and love are the most potent, fastest, and most efficient generators of this state. When you deliberately evoke a feeling of genuine gratitude, your heart almost instantly stops beating in the chaotic, irregular rhythm of stress and begins to beat in a smooth, harmonious, and sinusoidal wave. This coherent rhythm is the most ordered and powerful signal your biology can produce, and it has two miraculous simultaneous effects. It clarifies reception. Coherence acts as the most potent noise filter for your antenna. It dissolves the static of anxiety, doubt, and excessive analysis. Suddenly, the whisper of your intuition becomes as clear as a bell. The patterns of synchronicity become obvious, almost dazzling. It's like going from a poorly tuned radio in the middle of a storm to a high-fidelity sound system in a silent room. It amplifies transmission. At the same time, this coherent field generated by love and gratitude is the most powerful signal you can emit to the universe. It is a magnet of immense force that, by the law of resonance, begins to organize the quantum field around you in the most efficient way, attracting experiences, people, and opportunities that vibrate in that same harmony. The universal antidote for low-frequency gratitude and love are the universal antidotes for the survival vibrations that sabotage our creations. Gratitude is the perfect antidote for the scarcity mentality. It is physically and emotionally impossible to feel genuine gratitude and at the same time feel that you are lacking something. They are mutually exclusive states of consciousness. Gratitude is the vibrational signature of wholeness. By practicing it, you are declaring on a cellular level, I already have enough. I am already enough. Love is the perfect antidote for the separation and fear mentality. Fear is born from the illusion that you are alone, vulnerable, separated from the whole. Unconditional love is the recognition that you are one with everything. You cannot feel expansive love and at the same time feel alone or threatened. Love dissolves fear as light dissolves darkness. By deliberately cultivating these states, you are, on a vibrational level, dissolving the two root causes of all suffering and all unwanted manifestation, the belief in lack and the belief in separation. The end of the seeker's identity, the embodiment of wholeness. Finally, living from gratitude and love is the act that completely dissolves the seeker's identity. The seeker, as we have seen, is defined by his not having. His life is a chase. The one who gives thanks is defined by his already having. The one who loves is defined by his already being. This change of Identity is the quantum leap. You stop being the person who wants success, and you become the person who is grateful for success. You stop being the person who seeks love, and you become the embodiment of love. Although nothing may have changed on the outside, on the inside, on the causal plane, the creation is already finished. You have stopped chasing the butterfly, and have become the garden to which the butterfly flies effortlessly. The first practice, the asset audit, the journal of present wealth. To tune into gratitude, you must first retrain your mind to see the wealth you already possess, which often lies invisible before your eyes. Your practice is that of the daily audit of your assets, the treasure hunter's protocol. Every night without exception, as the last act before sleep, you take your journal, and you become a treasure hunter of your own day. You look with deliberate attention for 3 to 5 specific blessings or gains of the day for which you are genuinely grateful. The key is specificity, because it is in the detail that emotion resides. You don't write, "My family." You write, "I am grateful for the way my son hugged me this morning as he left, and how I felt his small arm around my neck." For each point you write, close your eyes for 60 seconds. Relive the moment. Feel the gratitude in your body and your heart. In doing this, you are not just writing a list. You are rewiring your brain. You are training your reticular activation system to become an expert at finding wealth instead of lack. And, more importantly, you fall asleep in the vibration of wholeness, allowing your subconscious mind to marinate in that high frequency all night long. The second practice, the gratitude burst, the negativity short circuit. To change a state of negativity immediately, in the midst of the chaos of the day, you use a high-potency tool, a vibrational emergency intervention. The gratitude burst protocol is simple, explosive, and radically effective. Acknowledge and stop. The moment you realize you are in a negative thought spiral, say aloud or in your mind, "Stop." Start the burst. For 3 to 5 minutes, non-stop, without censorship. You verbalize or write down everything you are grateful for, as fast as you can. Start with the most obvious and present things. Thank you for this roof. Thank you for my hands that work. Thank you for this challenge because I know it is making me stronger. Thank you for the air I breathe. Thank you for the water I drink. Thank you for the music. Thank you for the memory of that laugh. Thank you for the lesson I am learning, although it hurts. The goal is not eloquence, but momentum and speed. It is to create a whirlwind, a vortex of high-frequency energy that forcefully short-circuits negative thought patterns. It is neuroscientifically impossible for your brain to maintain 2 strong, opposing emotional states at the same time. The energy of gratitude, generated with this intensity, literally expels the lower-frequency energy of fear. The third practice, the ray of love, coherent projection. To tune into the frequency of love, you do not wait to receive it. You become its source. You radiate it. Your practice is that of the conscious projection of love, a form of meta-meditation. Center yourself. Sit in silence. Generate a feeling of love and warmth in your heart, perhaps by remembering a loved one, a pet, or a moment of pure joy. Feel that energy in your chest. Radiate outward. First, direct that ray of love toward yourself. Bathe in it. Silently repeat, "May I be at peace. May I be happy. May I be free." Then, bring to mind your loved ones one by one and send them that ray of love from your heart. The alchemical challenge. This is the most alchemical act. Bring to mind the image of a person with whom you have a conflict. Look beyond their mask to the wounded being inside and send them the same ray of love, not to condone their behavior, but to free the poison of resentment from your own system. Universalization. Finally, expand that field of love until it envelops your city, your country, and the entire planet without exception. You do this not for them. You do it for you. You are tuning your own instrument to the purest and most powerful note in the universe. The fourth practice, the art of blessing, proactive gratitude. Finally, the master does not just give thanks for what is, he blesses what he wants to be. A blessing is the act of projecting the master frequency of love and gratitude onto a future potential. Instead of praying that your business will prosper, you bless it. You place your hands on your computer or your work tools and say, "I bless this business. I bless its growth, its prosperity, and the service it provides. I bless every customer it serves and every person who works in it. Thank you for its resounding success. Instead of worrying about a loved one's health, you bless them. In your meditation, you visualize them surrounded by healing light and say, I bless your body. I bless your vitality. I bless your perfect health and your speedy recovery. Thank you for your well-being. A blessing is not a request. It is a decree. It is an act of imbuing a possibility with the highest frequency in the universe, accelerating its manifestation. Chapter 10. The Symphony of Co-Creation. You have learned to change the broken strings of your limiting beliefs. You have learned to calibrate your instrument with the master frequency of gratitude and love, and to tune it to the fundamental note of the universe. But all this work had one sacred purpose: to prepare you for the moment when you stop being a simple instrument that responds to the music of the world and you become the composer, the conductor of the orchestra, the source of the music itself. This is the final identity shift. It is the graduation of the soul. The listener is reactive. He hears the universe's signals, intuition, synchronicity, the mirror of relationships, and responds to them. He is a skilled navigator who knows how to read the wind and the stars. This is a state of great power, but the musician, the co-creator, is proactive. He does not wait for the music. He is the music. His own state of being, tuned and coherent, is the first and most potent note that resonates in the silent orchestra of the universe, inviting the rest of the cosmos to join in his symphony, to harmonize with his melody. You no longer ask, from a place of uncertainty, what is the universe telling me? You ask from a place of sovereign power, what song do I choose to sing today so that the universe can sing along? The philosophy of the co-creator, the qualities of mastery to live as a co-creator, is to live in a state of mastery. It is not a state of static perfection, but of dynamic alignment. It is not a life without challenges, but a life where challenges are seen as solos of improvisation in the great symphony. This state is characterized by three fundamental and unmistakable qualities: absolute trust in the flow, the surrender of the victorious general. The co-creator has transcended doubt. His trust in the flow of the universe is not an intellectual belief, a repeated affirmation. It is a cellular knowing, a deep relaxation at the center of his being. He knows beyond all shadow of a doubt that he is not separate from the flow of life, but is a conscious expression of it. He trusts the whispers of his intuition as the infallible compass, the baton of the inner orchestra conductor. He trusts synchronicities not as magical surprises, but as the natural and predictable confirmation of his alignment. He trusts obstacles and closed doors as the wise redirections of the universe, the necessary pauses and tempo changes in the score of his life. This absolute trust frees him from the most exhausting disease of human consciousness, the need to control. And by letting go of control, by releasing the oars and surrendering to the river's current, he enters permanently into the state of wu-wei, of effortless action, where the universe's infinite machinery works for him, with him and through him, not against him. Inspired action as the norm, the path of joy. For the co-creator, action is no longer born of should, of have to, or of forced discipline. Those are the tools of the apprentice. The master's action is born naturally, spontaneously, and joyfully from inspiration. Since his intuition channel is clean and open, and his being is tuned to the master frequency, he constantly receives downloads of creative ideas, of impulses to act, of perfect next steps. His life ceases to be a rigid, meticulous plan laid out by the ego and becomes a joyful, improvised dance between his soul and the universe. Motivation, which is an external or forced push, is replaced by inspiration, which is an internal, irresistible pull. He follows the path of least resistance, which is always the path of greatest joy. He doesn't do what is logical or productive. He does what feels alive, and he discovers, paradoxically, that this path of inspired action is infinitely more productive and successful than any strategy born of effort and struggle. A deep sense of unity, the end of exile. Finally, the co-creator has completely dissolved the fundamental illusion of separation. He knows that he is not an isolated entity, an ego locked in skin, fighting for his own interests in a competitive world. He feels himself to be a cell in the vast body of the cosmos, a note in the infinite symphony of creation. This sense of unity, felt on a deep level, radically transforms his motivation. His desire to create no longer comes from the ego, from the longing to accumulate for himself, to prove his worth, to fill an inner void. It comes from the soul, from the desire to contribute to the beauty and harmony of the whole, and paradoxically, by focusing on service, on giving his unique note to the symphony, by ceasing to worry about what can I get and focusing on what can I give, the universe, in its perfect reciprocity, showers him with an abundance, a wholeness and a support that the ego, in its selfish struggle, could never achieve on its own. The dissolution of technique, the scaffolding falls. Throughout this audiobook, you have learned a series of practices and techniques: vibrational auditing, dream journaling, somatic consultation, calibration. These techniques are the scaffolding, the training wheels, the external structure necessary to build the edifice of your new consciousness. They are essential, but the goal of all scaffolding is not to remain forever. It is to be removed once the building is solid. The person who has reached the state of co-creator no longer clings to techniques with a beginner's rigidity. Why? Because he has practiced them with such devotion and consistency that they have become automatic, subconscious. They have gone from being software he has to consciously execute to being part of his new natural operating system. He no longer needs to practice meditation to find silence. His natural state of being, his vibrational set point, is receptive silence. Presence is not something he cultivates for 15 minutes. It is the place from which he lives. He no longer needs to strive to feel gratitude with a journal. His heart, through habit, naturally resides in a state of appreciation and awe at the miracle of existence. Gratitude is not something he feels. It is something he, as conscious effort to tune in, dissolves into a state of being. Practice is no longer something you do. It is something you are. The scaffolding is removed, and what remains is the radiant temple of your awakened self, the embodiment of the channels, the living symphony. The co-creator's life is the living embodiment of the channels we have explored. They are not tools he uses. They are facets of his unified perception. He lives intuition. The co-creator lives in a state of constant intuitive dialogue. The whisper of the soul is no longer an occasional signal he has to strive to hear. It is the orchestra conductor of his day-to-day life. He trusts his hunches and instantaneous knowings as he trusts the law of gravity. He lives the wisdom of the body. His body is his most finely tuned instrument, his most immediate oracle. He no longer has to ask it if something is right or wrong. The resonance of expansion or the dissonance of contraction is instantaneous, clear and undeniable. His body is his embodied truth. He lives synchronicity. The co-creator lives in an ocean of meaning. Synchronicities are no longer surprising or magical events. They are the natural grammar of his reality, the expected and normal way in which the universe responds to every note he plays. He lives in nature. He no longer visits nature. He recognizes himself as nature. He feels the cycles of the seasons in his own energy. He sees the wisdom of the seed in his projects, and he feels the interconnectedness of the forest in his relationships. He lives relationships as mirrors. He is no longer triggered by others. He sees every interaction as a reflection, an opportunity to know himself more deeply. The difficult masters become his most cherished allies, the final invitation to become a tuning fork for the world. When an instrument is perfectly tuned and played with love, its vibration not only creates beautiful music, it has the power to tune the other instruments around it. The co-creator, by living in a state of coherence, love and gratitude, becomes a tuning fork for the world. His calm presence can soothe the anxiety in a room without saying a word. His trust in the flow can inspire others to let go of their own struggle. His genuine joy can remind others of the possibility of their own bliss. The symphony of co-creation has been composed. You have stopped being the passive listener of someone else's music. You have been the instrument, the tuner, the musician, and now you have become the composer and the song. Our journey began with a simple question. Are you listening? We started as frustrated radio listeners, surrounded by a symphony of cosmic information, yet unable to tune in to a clear signal. And throughout this manual, we have undertaken a profound journey of tuning. First, we understood the nature of the broadcast, recognizing that the universe is a symphony and that we are the human receiver, a biological antenna of exquisite sensitivity. Then, with patience, we began to tune the channels. We delved into the internal channels, learning to listen to the silent voice of intuition, to feel the compass of our body, and to decipher the oracle of our dreams. We looked up and learned to read the external channels, to see the grammar of synchronicity and coincidences, to find the patterns of life in the book of nature, and to see ourselves in the mirror of our relationships. Finally, we discovered the master frequency of gratitude and love, the key that clarifies all others, and we integrated everything into the art of the symphony of co-creation. You have completed the training. You have learned to listen. But the final revelation of this journey, the secret that the cosmos keeps for the end of the road, is this. The goal was never simply to listen to the universe's music. The goal was for you to remember that you are the music. You are no longer the radio that tries to tune in to a distant station. You are the station itself. Your state of being, your frequency, the song that emanates from your coherent heart, is the main note to which the rest of the cosmic orchestra responds. The universe cannot help but dance to the rhythm of your being. Your journey of learning has ended. Your life as a sonic work of art begins now. Your practice is no longer to tune, but to resonate. Your question every morning is no longer, what will the universe say to me today? But what music do I choose to be today? Walk through the world and allow the frequency of your peace, your joy, and your love to become the soundtrack that heals and uplifts everyone around you. Brief pause in narration. The background music remains very soft. If this manual for tuning into the cosmos has tuned your inner self and awakened the musician within you, we invite you to continue this exploration. Subscribe to our channel, The Hidden Knowledge, for more wisdom that expands consciousness. Like this video. If you recognize yourself as an essential note in the symphony of the universe, share this knowledge with someone who needs to learn to listen to their own music. Thank you for your time, for your openness, and for the brave decision to stop being a mere listener and, at last, become the song.